My dear family, peace be with you today. I have brought you the most popular movie called Dirty Work, which was released in 2018. My family, please help us by liking the video without wasting time. Let's go to the movie. Yes, the movie starts with a woman named Arabella, who is a fashion designer, having breakfast at Marilyn's house with her husband Ross. Ross is wealthy, while Marilyn is a writer. Ross often makes harsh comments trying to hurt Marilyn's feelings that morning. He tells her that she hasn't been writing and just sits around doing nothing, claiming she married him for his money. Marilyn stays quiet, but suddenly Ross starts to cough. Arabella tells him to call an ambulance, and they both watch as Ross dies. Please don't blame them, especially not Arabella, unless you know what happened about a month before. Arabella is trying really hard to, succeed as a fashion designer, but things keep going wrong for her. After one of her photo shoots, she gives her work to her manager Ian and asks him to show it to some people. She meets Ian, who tells her that all her work was rejected. She can't believe it, because she put a lot of effort into that project and doesn't want to accept the rejection. Ian tells her that she understands how tough their industry can be, especially for people who aren't famous. He encourages her to keep trying, saying that one day she'll succeed. She reminds him that she's put all her energy into these projects, spent a lot of money, lost friends, and wonders when she'll finally catch her big break. He suggests she work with fashion designers as a personal shopper until she gets her chance. He encourages her to go for the interview, hoping it's better than doing nothing. Although she is hesitant, she goes to the interview, which turns out to change her life while waiting. She thinks about how she feels different from other women, even though she doesn't know why. When it's her turn, she goes in to meet Marilyn. She sits down and introduces herself, but Marilyn interrupts, saying she already knows her name and isn't interested in her work. Arabella needs to sell herself. She talks about her school life, and Marilyn asks what she can offer. Arabella points out that everyone outside is a fashion designer, so she must have something special to bring. She tells Marilyn she's sure she could do the job better than anyone else. Then, Marilyn asks if her parents support her career choice, and Arabella replies that her parents have passed away. Marilyn explains that she has a book launch in 3 weeks and needs a personal shopper available every day. Until then, she asks if Arabella can handle it, and Arabella feels intimidated, saying, "The way Marilyn talks to her feels like someone is hitting her." She leaves the room mad and throws away the job ad. She doesn't realize that Marilyn will help her discover her true self. When she gets home, she meets a plumber named Marcus, who is fixing their broken taps. He tells her that he moved to the city 2 years ago and now has a job in his own house. But he wants a girlfriend. He tries to flirt with her, but her roommate Safi walks in. Safi asks if Marcus is attractive, and if they can have him over. After confirming with Arabella, she asks Marcus to help fix the broken tap in their room. In the room, they end up kissing him, and they all enjoy a physical relationship together. Arabella mentions how wild Safi is, and how she helped her start to discover her true self. But it wasn't complete afterward. They both sleep on the bed together. Soapy pulls Arabella in for a kiss and asks if it feels special, but neither of them really feel anything. They wonder why they only want to touch each other when there is a man around specifically. A fourth man, they have both been with Arabella, explains that it's because they aren't lesbians. Arabella talks to Safi about her job interview and mentions that Marilyn, her boss, makes her feel overwhelmed. Safi suggests she should quit her job with Marilyn the next day. Marilyn calls Arabella to let her know that she got the job and should bring some dresses to her apartment. When Arabella arrives, she sees her husband Ross at first sight. It seems like he might be cheating, and Arabella realizes that Marilyn acts so dominating because she wants to feel a love too. Arabella drops off Marilyn's clothes, and Ross then calls her for coffee. After that, Marilyn can't find her manuscripts and realizes Ross has them. He reads them to embarrass her, and when she asks him to stop, he drags her to the room, hits her, and tells her she can't say anything since she doesn't help pay for the house. He walks away, and Arabella goes to comfort Marilyn. Marilyn tells her it's okay and advises her to get ready to leave. Arabella asks what the book is about, and Marilyn explains that it tells the story of a man who mistreats his wife until she ends up killing him. Arabella has always liked girls, especially Marilyn. She gets really excited when she thinks about Her Arabella often goes to smell Marilyn's clothes, and when she sees her, she runs to the closet one day while shopping for clothes for Marilyn's interview with her friend Dylan. Arabella makes some clothes for Marilyn, but Marilyn doesn't want them. Instead, she picks designer clothes and goes for her interview. After the interview, Dylan flirts with Marilyn, and they end up being together while Arabella watches for the first time. Arabella feels like she wants to get involved. She calls her friend Safi to talk about wanting to join the relationship, but Safi thinks Arabella is just feeling vulnerable because it's the anniversary of her mother's death. The next day, she goes to Marilyn's house and sees her with another man. She watches them having fun, and when the man goes to the bathroom, Marilyn calls out to Arabella. She knows Arabella has been watching and asks why she hasn't joined in. Marilyn offers Arabella the chance to be part of their relationship, and Arabella agrees. When the man comes back, she puts a blindfold on him and asks Arabella to come in and be with him. Marilyn watches as Arabella enjoys herself and touches herself the next day. Arabella asks Marilyn what she would do if Ross woke up and asked why she stayed in a loveless marriage. Marilyn explains that Ross threatens to take everything from her, making her feel trapped the next day. Arabella makes breakfast for Ross, which ends up leading to his death while he is in pain. They make him watch them enjoy themselves. The police come and ask if they know anyone who might hurt Ross. So Arabella mentions the strange man in a hoodie after the police leave. Marilyn takes a bath with Arabella and tells her they need some space for a few days. She asks Arabella how she managed to kill her husband and how it feels to have that kind of power. Arabella tells a story about how she had a sexual relationship with Safi's father when she was 13. This continued until she wanted something serious with him, and he broke up with her. She threatened to tell Safi, but he begged her not to. 2 days later, he hurt himself and died that night. Arabella decided to use her energy to create new designs, and a designer liked her work and asked her to make a sample. She called her friend Marilyn to celebrate and went to Marilyn's house there. She met a man in a hoodie who said he was a private investigator hired by Ross who was worried about his life. The man warned Arabella to be careful with Marilyn because Marilyn holds all the power after he left. Marilyn arrived, packed her things quickly, and when Arabella confronted her, Marilyn called the police claiming that Arabella had killed her husband as Marilyn tried to leave. Arabella asked if she was being used. She tells Arabella that everything was her idea and she was in control. She wanted her husband dead, but didn't want to do it herself. So she chose Arabella for the job. She says it's time to finish everything and brings out a hammer to hit her. Arabella feels sorry for her and takes the hammer away. The police show up and Marilyn pretends to be the victim. Arabella gets arrested and spends 6 years in prison. The movie ends here, please. My family, don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel. Thank you.